Welcome to the New to Crypto podcast, designed to guide you through the crypto landscape with pinpoint accuracy, created for the new and intermediate crypto investor. Join your host, Crypto Travels Michael, as he takes you through the different facets of getting started and succeeding in your crypto journey. New to Crypto podcast brings you new episodes daily, Monday through Friday, with surprise bonus episodes sometimes on the weekend. Let me ask you, are you new to crypto? Don't know where to start? Are you more experienced but have questions? Then you're in the right place. This podcast is designed for you. Coming at you from the Trading Center in the Lifestyle Design Studio, here's your host, Crypto Travels Michael.
Hey, welcome to today's podcast. Today, I'm joined by the co-founder of Paxful, who has a new project where he's actually one of the founders of a new DeFi project called Clip Finance. Do me a favor and welcome Artur to the podcast today. Hey, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, Michael, what's up? Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Hey, man, before we dive in, can you tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Artur, come from Estonia, and I've been fascinated about crypto since 2013 when I first got into that. So I've seen things, I've built things, successful ones, and that's what I'm happy to talk about.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, can you give our listeners just a little overview as to what Clip Finance is? This is your new project.
Clip Finance is a yield optimizer. If you guys don't know what is yield optimizer, I will answer later. But yeah, this is a yield optimizer with a better UX approach where you just shoot and forget. Basically, type in the amount you have in stablecoins, how much you want to deposit, $1,000, and you click deposit. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to know any strategy. If you know about DeFi, you have like tens or hundreds strategies you got to choose. Here, we do everything for you. You just sit and then watch, how the yield is piling up.
Okay, so no prior crypto or even DeFi knowledge is required, correct?
Correct, exactly.
That makes it extremely user-friendly. Exactly.
So that's the goal. It's my experience from crypto since 2013. Well, it has been 9 years. I've seen how people interact with that, and now thanks to that, I know how to build these things. And the DeFi has exactly the same problem that Bitcoin had back in 2013 to 15, where prior, this blockchain explorers, the blockchain info wallet, all these things, they were done super simply. In a super simple software like language. You could see default design like Bootstrap. Didn't look professional. So, and then it started to come up all this new Bitcoin startups like Coinbase and all this stuff. So, and here's the same thing. We are basically in DeFi in the same place now, where it's a bunch of smart contract developers built for the buddies, other degens, DeFi apps, just to impress them, and they're complex. So, and again, that's what we're doing with Clip Finance, to make it simple. That you don't need prior experience. Why? You come to the website like, oh, I don't have a wallet. What should I do? You have to download the wallet. Then you have to realize that you are actually in control of your own funds. Then you need to buy on some other service, third-party service, stablecoins. Then you realize you need to actually buy Ethereum to pay the gas fees or whatever other chain. So that's a lot of things to wrap your head around. If you never used blockchain, DeFi, Bitcoin, anything, you just come from traditional banking world. Like traditional bank apps. Such concepts do not exist.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, like we're trying to, again, So the person would not have fear, doubt, or he should have trust that this absolutely new things he's going through should be simple for him.
Yeah, I really like what you guys are doing in helping the masses on board and be able to do this in a very simple way. Can you share with our listeners that may not be familiar with what yield farming is? Can you just give them like a little overview in simple terms for someone? Because we have, it's the New to Crypto podcast. We have people that are new. We also have people that are really experienced and also investors, but they might come from a different asset class.
Right. So yield farming is you're putting your money to work. It's the first thing is you're not speculating. You're not trading meme coins on that. It's not like you are buying some coin and then you're waiting for this price to go up or you're shorting this. It's different. You're actually giving your liquidity, your money in stable coins or coins like Ethereum to this DeFi protocols as a liquidity, and you are becoming a market maker. You're automatically a market maker because on centralized exchanges, you're not a market maker. Not everybody can become a market maker, but here, because it's DeFi, it's open, permissionless, anybody can be a market maker. So you're giving your liquidity in stable coins to a protocol, for example, Uniswap, that other people can trade tokens. So Uniswap is collecting the trading fees from who are trading and using your liquidity, and then you are getting these fees. So basically, you're getting share of these fees, and that is yield farming in short. And now on top of that, there are all these interesting concepts built with so-called governance tokens of these protocols. Then they incentivize you by emitting you their tokens, additional tokens like Uni token. Like, hey, if you put this much liquidity for this much time, you will get additionally these tokens. Now the question is why this token should have a price. And again, there's all this creativity in the so-called tokenomics where they tell you like, hey, if you buy this token, have this token, lock it up for at least 6 months, you will get more share from the trading fees. So the token holders of Uni token holders get more trading fees than the ones who don't have this token. So it's a big world when you start diving deep into that, how to yield farm yourself. It took me many sleepless nights to figure out how this works. And some of my friends, who are into crypto, they say they're into crypto, but they don't know how the yield farming works. So there are tons of people like that, and they don't have time to research of that. And that's why Clip Finance was born. Like, you deposit here stable coins, and in a completely transparent way, we're showing you where this money goes. This goes into this protocol, into that protocol. They earn this much, and then on aggregate, you will be getting a yearly APY, like annualized percentage yield of 8%. So your earnings would be 8% or 15%, again, depending on the blockchain and this kind of things. And again, everything will be easy.
Okay. And a question that some of our listeners may be asking. So are the stable coins locked, or can they withdraw at any time, or how does that work with Clip Finance?
Yes. So because it's decentralized, it's withdraw anytime. So where we are deploying the capital, we have this requirements that these funds where we are deploying the user funds is that there should be no lockup period. So withdraw anytime, and we collect fees only on this yield we're earning for you. So we're not taking fees from your deposit, from your principal.
Fantastic. And I wanted to ask you, before we dive a little deeper into Clip, can you share with us about like your origin story? How did Clip Finance come to be? What's your story and you and your teams, and how did it evolve to where it was? I know you touched on it just a little bit in the beginning, that you wanted to make something easier for people that were not familiar. with all the different facets of DeFi and how, yield farming works and et cetera. But take us down that rabbit hole and share a little bit about how you and your team got started on this project.
Okay, yeah, like I said, some things in the beginning. Like I've been in crypto space from 2013. Let's do a huge jump into DeFi summer 2020 or so before that. And still now I'm a co-founder of Paxful.com, that is the biggest P2P marketplace. That is not DeFi, it's about buying, selling Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USDT. That's where I got my experience, how to build easy products for retail. So fast forward to 2020, DeFi summer, if you guys remember, the Yearn came out and there's this YAM V2 rebasing, all this funny stuff. And out of yeah,
I definitely remember. I don't know about all of our listeners, but definitely a portion of them do as well.
Yeah. So, and with any new technology or whatever comes out, 99% of that is crap, is copycat or scam, whatever you name it. But 1% is gold. So there were some really good. Apps built, and the reason I got into that. I'm holding Ethereum since 2016, and then I'm seeing, somebody's getting 20% on top their Ethereum, not just by holding, by doing something with this, like staking or giving this as a collateral and then borrowing. So, and that's where I had the sleepless nights to figure out. Asked a bunch of my Ethereum friends, because I was more like a Bitcoin maxi back then. They told I don't know where the yield is coming from. So then I figured out the yield is coming from by you giving the liquidity to these protocols. And then for 2 years I've been using these protocols, yield farming, borrowing against my Ethereum. It's like you can live, like you borrow against the collateral that appreciates up in value over time. So you are basically always in debt. That's another concept where you can borrow stablecoins on Aave, on Compound, on this money markets, where your interest is 2-3%, but you are yield farming at 10%. So your net interest, net APY is 7% yearly. So that's kind of, if you had unlimited capital or billions, then you could scale it up, but obviously the market equilibrium wouldn't. But anyway, with my amount of capital, it's what I've been doing. So, and that brings me to Clip. It's hey, interesting was I was the only guy who was doing this yield farming, and then I was telling to a bunch of my friends when we were playing basketball outside. And then 6 months later, one of these guys, he said hey, I was in Chainlink Hackathon, I won this, and in 6 months he basically learned smart contract development. He deployed, he released some projects for his clients that he got, and then we're hey, let's do something together now in DeFi, and that's how Clip was born. But we were looking by all these yield aggregators, yield optimizers, and they were all not good enough, not simple enough. And then I asked him hey, can we do it this way? Can we do it this way? Is there an architectural complexity to do it super simple? And we thought, put our heads together. He said, no, it's all possible. So that's another thing, is the way we have done architecture. I'll leave it out from this podcast. It will be on our website in our Git book. Who is curious how our architecture is done? That basically allows us to pool the funds together and then allocate them to different strategies. That user doesn't have to do that himself manually. So.
Okay. So let me just reiterate what you said in the beginning. So it's crystal clear for our listeners how simple it is to use Clip Finance. So they connect a wallet. They basically, as it's on your website, they confirm the funds allocation. And from there, they're going to see their earnings as they accumulate.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, that's a precondition, right? You have a wallet, you have some stable coins in your wallet, and you have network fees. And you basically don't have to think. It's like, hey, this is how much you put money in, and this is how much you're gonna get, and this is where we're gonna yield farm for you. Obviously, the text would be much simpler, not like yield farm or strategy. It will be this like simple, non-techie text. Like, here's the funds allocation. Here is like APY. So APY is a typical financial term. So. And then it's up to the user to make a decision. Does he want to do this? What are the risks, right? First of all, is this yearly yield historical? Like, where's the proof that I will get that? So we can show, we are showing the historical yield as well. Like, hey, it's not some random number that we're just showing to you. It's actually the yield's been this much in the past. And that would kind of ease a user that, this is a serious thing. He can trust it.
Absolutely. No, I want to touch on Paxful in a moment too for our listeners that are not familiar. Just a brief part that it is, as you mentioned, the largest peer-to-peer, place to buy, marketplace where you can buy and sell. I've used Paxful many times myself. It's global. You can just sell your crypto, or you can buy crypto, whether you want to get, on ramp or off ramp of fiat. It's extremely user friendly and simple to use. And, you're co-founded like the largest one, in the world. So, and here you are creating Clip Finance now, and you and your team have rolled this out, and it's fantastic. Just touching on what you had just mentioned, you also do the auto compounding for them as well, yeah?
So exactly. That's another thing I didn't mention. Like, so the question is like, why should I use Clip instead of going directly into the strategies that we are showing? Like, hey, we're going to yield farm here, here, and here in these three strategies.
Exactly.
Why shouldn't user go directly there? First of all, we do the auto compounding. We collect yield every hour, and that yield collected goes back into your deposit. So if you guys know how this auto compounding works, over the year, you're earning not like linearly, but it's
significantly
up,
more as it builds and compounds.
Yeah, that's one thing, right? Why you should use us, and then if you put into one strategy, like that's what I've seen with myself. I put into one strategy to yield farm my AVAX token, and it shows like 11%, and then I forget about this. 2 months later, I come back. It shows only 3%. And then on the same website, it shows like, hey, there's another farm for AVAX, 10%. So now I'm farming 3%. I didn't know there's another farm for 10%. So I now had to manually move my AVAX from a 3% yield into 10% yield. So here we are monitoring for you. We are moving into the best yields. Obviously, that's another big topic: is how do we manage risk? How do we decide which strategies we're going to use? But yeah, this is another our value add. Why use us instead of going directly yourself?
The diversification.
Of course, if you have time yourself, and you're welcome. I'm super happy if you go deep down the rabbit hole of DeFi.
Well, it's also much more technical to do it yourself. Having done it myself before, I could tell you that,
exactly.
You and I are probably both techie people and in crypto for a long time. But for our average listener, if they don't want to spend the time to figure it all out, how it all functions, and monitor everything that you and your team are already doing, Clip Finance is a great option. So tell us about the Clip token and where that ties into Clip Finance.
Yeah, so we don't have a token yet. We are working on tokenomics, and the path we decided is that some DeFi startups they promise a future token to investor, they raise money and so on. Now we basically self-funded, and not having a token is not a deal breaker to have a product. And honestly, I'm coming from a non-DeFi world. Paxful works well without a token, so any product should be able to work well without a token. If you need to have a token for the product to work, you're doing something you're doing wrong, right? You're subsidizing until this thing collapses. I guess again that's my personal opinion. Probably there could be some apps that can work only with a token, but anyway. The token we're going to have, the tokenomics, I don't have an ETA when we're going to have it. We're still designing with really great people, really who are like everyday tokenomics professionals. That would be, if you guys know that, how do we do the token emission, right? How do we reward the token? And the most typical concept now is to reward the token based on time. So you lock up some of your liquidity to Clip, and then your liquidity, out of all users' liquidity, you get a proportional token emission. So based on time. We are doing that. We're not doing this way. We're doing that results-based emission. So if our TVL grows of the protocol, then we emit the token. And that would mean that everybody has to work towards this one North Star metric. It's like, hey, if people are putting in their liquidity into Clip, that means they trust the product, this works, and there's all this network effects. Oh yeah, the reason to have a token is to have a network effects, right? So obviously people who understand, you would be saying right away, is like, oh, but a big whale comes in, puts money in, goes away. Yeah, we thought this things through, right? Like this bad case scenarios and so-called the mercenary liquidity. For example, liquidity has to be locked at least for 3 months. Then you get an emission. Then you get a reward. Otherwise, if you just came in as a tourist and then left, there's no reward for you. But again, this is a work in progress. Something good is going to come out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I also see that you guys have coming soon insurance. Are you further enough along the way to share with our listeners just a little bit about how that might work?
Yeah, so the insurance is like in really early stages in DeFi, and this insurance is insuring you against a hack in your protocol, like in Clip's protocol. Let's talk about like the bad things as well that can happen. It's not like this great new revolutionary blockchain technology where bad things may not happen. If your protocol gets hacked, then this insurance is paying out. But because Clip is routing the money to other protocols, and if that other protocol is getting hacked, then this insurance is not covering the hack. And that means there are these other mechanisms how we can do that. For example, some of the yield we're putting aside into the treasury, into the insurance fund, and again, it's all vague now how we're planning that, but it will come too for like peace of mind of a customer.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you in the first step where users connect their wallet, which wallets can they use to connect? Are you integrating with most?
Yeah, so I would say here it's not about like which wallets, but it's for users that already have a wallet, are familiar, or the ones who don't. And the ones who are familiar, it's MetaMask, Coinbase, Trezor. But the ones who are not familiar or first time, it's what they're gonna see. Again, how do we make them calm? Like, hey, you have to install this into your browser, or if you're in a phone, you have to install this app, set it up, and only then you connect. So it's about the user flow. And I know there's some built-in kits like Rainbow Kit that just a drop-in widget that does everything for you, but Personally, I don't think it's the best one. It could have still some improvements, so that's why we're building a flow with that, with our own flow of how to explain to user how to download, install, and connect the wallet. But again, it should be super simple, right? We don't want to again show it like it's some rocket science, like there's a lot of text or whatever. All that again, we will try to avoid this. Obviously, that's the hardest part. You always want to go deep and explain and tell. Probably use some complex words, but this thing we always have to look back and like, no, let's make it simpler.
Absolutely. On the New to Crypto website, we did the same thing. We have some how-to guides with screenshots, literally the whole step, how to start and open a MetaMask wallet, for example, and other ones, right? Just not too deep, just 1-2 sentences, take someone through the process, even what a seed phrase is, all that on there, because it's really needed, that people understand how to do some of the basics and things like that. So share with us and our listeners the things to come, like your roadmap for the rest of 2022 and beyond with Clip Finance.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, again, the space is young. There's so many things we can build. First thing, we chose a yield optimizer. And then there's another concept of composability in DeFi, where you can reuse other protocol. You can connect to the other protocol basically without a permission and use them. It's like Plate that connects to different banks in US, but here there's no such tool needed. You just connect to other protocols. Anyway, you have this yield optimizer, and again on the background, if we will support more assets to earn yield from, we would be using money markets on the background. We would be the fiat on-ramp. We would be integrating fiat on-ramp, some fiat on-ramp existing ones, and then eventually replacing with our own fiat on-ramp. And you can see that from centralized exchanges. First, they partner with somebody, and then they basically roll out their own version of this new product. And our TVL and our tokenomics should incentivize and invite new builders to join Clip Finance. That's another thing we're betting on. We're not the smartest here. We are betting on the community that will come behind us and build together with us a Clip ecosystem. Again, first starts with the yield optimizer. And on top of that, like what user want next, right? What problems they have next. We're going to listen to them and build for them.
Okay. And you mentioned the community. How can our listeners, we'll have all the links on the episode blog post page, but how can our listeners join and be part of your community?
So we have a Telegram channel. We have a Discord channel now. Discord is more active. Join our Discord channel. Follow us on Twitter. You will hear the latest news. We're going to update you about everything, and come talk to us as well. And again, if you're a builder, you're looking a marketing manager, or whoever, you want to help us out, reach out.
Okay, fantastic. And what else would you like to share with everyone about what you guys have going in Clip Finance?
So going back to like what we're looking to build. First of all, the core product is the yield optimizer. Again, it's about to decrease number of clicks you have to do to basically deposit and start earning yield, coming from not having a wallet at all. Because if now you don't have a wallet, you need to download that, you need to install that, like on some external website. Then you need to have to buy a stablecoins with some fiat on-ramp. So that's going to be like a constant work to improve this user flow, where we're going to replace things or improve integrations where you got to do less and less clicks. Good analogy is when Instagram came out, why Instagram got so popular. You had to do only 4 clicks to post a picture. On Facebook, you had to do 10 clicks. So that's one avenue. The second avenue, like I was telling, different new products that our users would need, or we see that they need, we're going to build for them. That's basically our roadmap. And in general, if people are skeptical now in the bear market, I would say I've seen this bear market 3 times at least, and these tourists that come and then they leave. So this is now the same time. It's like time to build new products, and that's why the next bull market will be in 2-3 years, because new products take time to build. That's why the DeFi summer started after the 2 years after the ICO boom, 17-18. So again, we have a 2-year cycle for a reason. It's a new cycle of new apps are being built. And even I have this friends who are in crypto, again, the so-called friends who are in crypto, they again are skeptical, coming back like, so is it the end of DeFi? The yields are down. Is it the end? What's going to be next? I'm like, no, the blockchain is still working. In my opinion, the yields will be always higher than in traditional banking. Well, not now, right? Because right now the treasury bills are quite high, but there's some limit you can buy. Here will be higher than traditional banks offer. It's because the infrastructure is more distributed. In DeFi, you don't have this huge infrastructure costs. That's one. And the second is that you are a liquidity provider, you're a market maker automatically, and you're getting a cut of the fees, right? You're getting a cut of the trading fees. Again, in traditional banking, you're not getting that, and that's why you're getting here extra money, and plus the maintenance, this infrastructure upkeep is not so expensive. So the yield will be naturally always higher than in traditional banks. That's the good side, and the bad side is obviously if your wallet gets hacked, you're not protected. You're screwed. If protocol gets hacked, you lost your money, and the protocol lost the money too. So again, there's no FDIC insurance or this kind of things. That's kind of the Wild West. And again, the recommendation is here for now: do not invest more than you can afford to lose.
Yeah, I love how you're simplifying, the DeFi or decentralized finance, experience for those that are not, maybe so familiar with using Web3 apps and things like that, and
yeah, so I would say again, like I have some bunch of super successful friends from banking, not banking, and I start talking to them of this super basic things that are for me in Bitcoin, in crypto, like, there's this and this payment in DeFi. You can borrow stable coins with your Ethereum, and they're like, wow, that's so interesting. Let's meet again. Let's go for a dinner or something. And these people, they just want to find out, like, what is it? And again, they're like super successful, whatever they're doing, but for them, this is like, wow. And for me, it's because, we live in that. You tell them that, it's like, it's thing that you live in. It's for you, it's like kind of obvious. So, and that's why I like to talk about, again, in a simple way, because I know there are people who don't know that, who really literally like they want to learn this in a simple way. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, lastly, I wanted to ask you, how can our listeners reach out to you and your team? You had mentioned how they can join the community with, Telegram and Discord, but what's the best ways for people to reach out to you and your team?
So you can email me, artur@clip.finance. And from there, we'll take it from there, or even better, just write in Discord. We have a bunch of channels there. We'll get back to you.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Artur, it was a pleasure to have you drop by today and, have a conversation with everything that's going on with Clip Finance and how it got started, Thank
you. It was super good. 30 minutes on point. Hopefully everybody enjoyed.
It was a pleasure to have you here, and we'll have to have you come back in the future. And actually, maybe we'll have to talk about Paxful in the future as well, And so, all right. Until next time, it was a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to New to Crypto Podcast. If you liked the episode, be sure to follow and subscribe. You can listen to every episode on all major platforms. Have an interest in being on the show or want advertising? Reach out at newtocrypto.io. Head over to our site, newtocrypto.io, to access the resources mentioned in each episode. Until next time, remember to navigate the crypto landscape with pinpoint accuracy.